So at what point did you, I don't want to say become serious, but at some point you're like, you know what? I want to get better. Now you're sponsored. At what point do you feel that that transition occurred?
Man. Okay, so when I started out, I shot Glocks, right? And believe it or not, I was probably Glockstore's first competitive shooter. So I had the shirt and all that. And they sent me stuff to modify my Glock with. I still actually have some of that stuff too. Uh, and um, and I don't know. I guess it was because when I shot paint, as a paintball, that's a very expensive sport. And so my team back then were pretty good at getting sponsorships too, and so we were able to get free paint and free gear and stuff like that along those lines. And so it didn't take much time for me to realize, hey, you know what, I could probably just put my sales pitch in and go go talk to people and see if they're willing to, help me out. And yeah, I was fairly successful in that one in the beginning, I would say. Um, but it was more smaller companies, obviously, and even today, EA is relatively a small company compared to most. Um, but that was probably 20. I think I want to say it was probably 2015. I did the Glock store thing for a little while. It wasn't really that big, really, because I mean, they did have one shooter for a little while. I'm not sure whatever happened to them. Way after the fact. But when it comes to uh, competitions, and how much that makes a difference compared, moves the needle for them compared to the catalogs they give away for free that everyone and their uncle gets, mailed to. Those catalogs, they're not hurting for money. I don't think the competition side of things for Lock Store, if they're not doing it, is going to be hurting them at all. Um, so yeah, yeah. So yeah, that was my first thing. I had a gig a little bit with a small company, a son and father-owned company called Tooth and Nail Armory. So they came out with this Glock thumb rest because I was like geeky over thumb rests way back when, and they sent me several. So that was kind of neat. You have to mill your frame out though to put them in. It's kind of
How did you
you
like
gotta
it?
have some nuts. I still have them in my Glocks actually. I like them a lot.
Okay.
Pretty good. They work. They work.
Is Tooth and Nail Armory
Uh,
still around or are they out of business?
that's a good question. That's a good question. I got one of their shotguns, one of their open shotguns. I got one of those too. Really really nice shotgun. I haven't checked them out in a while. I would have to see if they're still around. I want to say they are, but I think they moved away. It was that oh, I can't remember the name of the shotgun anymore. I'm drawing a blank. M something I don't remember what it's called, but it's a magazine fed. Looks like a M16.
Yeah, I think it looks like they have moved to Missouri.
No, I think
AR
they were there when
AR-15 shotgun.
yeah, they were there when I was there. When I was in Illinois.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like they
Uh,
have. Okay. Interesting.
yeah,
This is an AR-15 looking shotgun, the RAAC MKA 1919.
that's it. MKA 1919. That's it. That's what it is.
Boom. And it looks like it's toothandnailarmory.com, maybe. Although I'm not
I'm
seeing
getting
it
the
anymore.
website disabled page.
Ah, okay. That's why it's not actually popping up in my feed, the actual website. Okay.
Yeah, but
Well,
that
they're on.
shotgun's amazing. It's all the Gucci. It's the Gucci'd up one too, where it has the left hand charging handle on the rail. It has uh, ported compensator. It's pretty sweet.
So they are no longer in business as of
That's
December of 2022, a year ago.
bummer.
There we go.
Good people.
Now, what point did you move to where you are now?
Um, 2018. So in
Okay.
2018, I got a new gig here in PA, and
Okay.
uh, I was able to do it back in, so it was May of 2018 where they got us plane tickets and got to tour it or do a recon of the area. They kept us up at Hershey Park, so we had to do the park as well while we were down here. And I quickly learned how nice and how many different places, how many awesome places that are nearby this particular area. I just mentioned Hershey Park. Well, you're not too far from, Pittsburgh, Philly, Baltimore, Gettysburg, right? So there's a lot of different things that you could do right, from PA. And so, we actually like it. It's nice. It's a nice place. It's a little colder than it's not as cold as Illinois, but still, well, as you get older, cold kind of sucks. And then your season's cut really short, you know, but it is
Right.
what it is. Because
Did you
like
feel
one
like
nice thing about
you could,
Illinois, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, the one nice thing about Illinois is that I had an indoor match, a weekly Tuesday night indoor match that would happen, um, regardless of the weather. So that was nice. I was able to shoot, that weekly match all the time, and it was good times. And you're just hanging out with buddies and all that. So it was awesome. It was an awesome match. So I kind of missed that. I wish we had an indoor match here. We could do the kind of the same thing and shoot over the winter. It'd be good.
All right. Now, at what point did you then move out of limited 10 into a real division?
Oh boy, wow. Yeah. So I don't remember the exact sequence because remember I get bored easily, so that's why I have so many divisions under my belt. Um, but I want to say it was production after limited 10, so I stayed with 10 round gun, and I think it was because of I took a buddy of mine sponsored a class with Matt Mink, and Matt Mink was a big CZ guy. And I want to say that's when I had a couple of SPO ones. I picked up a couple of SPO ones. I actually shot one of them, and I used that for quite some time. Not as long as I wish I did. I don't think I ever got my money back from shooting those guns, but it was that was one a good training session. They kept me rooted in low cap to an extent, and I learned a lot in that training session with Matt and my buddy. Um, and then let's see here. And then I cut my thumb. So this left thumb, you probably can't see it in the video right there. It's kind of slashed right there pretty bad. And
Oh,
so
you
it
can see
severed
where
the,
something moves funny.
yeah, it's really tight. They
Okay.
when they had to suture the tendon back together, and so it's a little shorter. Can't do as much of
Mm.
a anyway. That happened in 2015, and I still wanted to shoot. I had some majors I signed up for, and well, I couldn't shoot with two hands, but I could shoot with one. And so I picked up an open gun, actually two of them. Um, but I picked up open gun and I started shooting open. And the main reason was is that you could reload less open, so I just shot one hand. So you might be able to find a couple of videos of me out there shooting one-handed open gun. And what's funny is that I did not come last in that match. So
Okay.
there
That's a
there you are.
plus. I mean, there are the
Yeah,
people who got disqualified, so.
yeah, that's including them. Um, yeah,
Uh,
I shot open for a little bit, and then once I healed back up, I went to limited. So I did shoot. So my limited 10 gun for my Glock was also obviously a limited gun as well. And so I would go back and forth. So I was shooting that gun, and it's Gucci dad. I wish I could show you a photo of that one. That one's pretty sweet. It's got SJC all over it. It's pretty nice, and a whole bunch of like I said, Glock store parts on it. Um, but yeah, with that Glock, I got the A card fairly quickly in limited 10 and then later limited. Um, I did use some Glock 35s in production before I got the CZs. So I don't know. No, I didn't get production a true A card until I got here. I was here in PA. I said, oh, okay, I'm gonna go get it. So I can't remember if I got it with a SIG 320 or that's a good question. Why I earned that or with the Glock 35. I don't remember. Anyway, so like I said, I bounced around so many divisions. So from the open gun I did go to a Tanfo limited gun, and I stayed limited for a hot minute. Then I jumped to single stack. Right. And remember that friend I was telling you back in Illinois that he was a cop? All my
Yep.
guns I ever got that were like custom guns, usually he owned them first. So like my open guns, he owned them. I have a Gans 1911. He owned it before I did. Anyway, so there's a couple SIGs I got from him. And he's a cop. Go figure. He's his own FFL though, so he could get away with it back then. Good dude.
Did you
Um,
happen to notice the thumbs up emoji that popped up on your screen?
no, really did?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Well,
must
I
have missed it.
turned it off now, but yeah, it's happened twice. That's why you see me laughing because you're
That's
doing
why.
the thumbs up to the screen and it's like all of a sudden this thumbs up emoji comes up on the
So
screen.
it's the thumbs up and the balloon so far, eh? I gotta unlock the
Yeah.
next one. That'd be
Yeah.
great. That'd be great.
Well, maybe I'll
Yeah.
turn it back
So
on. We'll see what you come up with next. It's back on.
okay. Okay. Cool.
All right.
So we got limited. We got production. We got single stack.
Open.
Oh, PCC. So
Open.
I got a PCC back before, just about before I was leaving Illinois. I got a PCC because it's relative in the 2018, right? 2017, 2018. And oh, then there's still carry optics. I'm not sure when I got into carry optics. I don't think I got into carry optics until I was here in PA. Yeah, because I don't think it was that much of a thing yet. Because PCC came first, right?
It did. Oh, I think there was 1 year before.
Right? PCC then carry optics,
Yep.
I think.
Yep. PCC and then next year carry optics.
Yeah, yeah. I did PCC, and then I was using, of all things, my first PCC gun was a Scorpion. Man,
A
that was
CG
hard to live
Scorpion?
down. Yeah, that was hard to live down because that's a terrible gun to shoot in PCC.
Now,
It's
why
not
do you
easy
say
to
that?
load. It's super
Oh,
not easy to
okay.
load.
All right.
Yeah, and it's not easy to well, when you using an M4 or M16 all your life, you want that mag release right there. I mean, that's what your thumb's for, right? And it's not there. It's like there, and it's dumb.
Oh,
I don't get it. I'm not a fan of that.
okay.
Yeah, that's for AK people, I guess. If I grew up on the AK side of things, then I'd probably love it. But no, it's always M16 dude. So it is what it is.
Well, that's because you're not communist, so I get it.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not either. So I will never own an AK ever.
yeah. I agree.
I do know how to
And
use them, and I will use them if I
yeah.
have to. However, I prefer not to own them.
Funny thing was, I had an AK, a 5.56 AK, in one of my deployments to the Republic of Georgia. That was what kept me safe at night against whatever was on the other side of the Caucasus Mountains.
Now, was
But
that
yeah,
so you wouldn't stand out as much?
no, it was just I don't know. That's what I found under my bed one day. It's like, oh, this is cool, cool leftover
Interesting.
item. The last guy who stayed this. But I asked the armor, hey, is this okay for me to keep in my room? It's like, yeah, man, you're good. It's like, all right. Cool. It was neat because it was one was a 5.56 AK and it had one of those folding stock deals. It had airborne folding stock, so it was you could shoot it folded.
Okay. Did it take straight mags or banana clip mags?
It was the 5.56 ones are a lot more curved. So yeah, it was pretty curved.
Okay. Interesting. Hmm.
I remember that right. Yeah,
All right.
it was
So
a while ago.
let's talk about your basement for a minute.
Oh sure.
Was this something that happened once you moved to PA, or did you start this in Illinois?
Yeah, yeah. So no, it was when I moved here to PA. I got the idea though from my range there in Illinois. Like because our indoor range, we would hang the same material on the rails of the no emoji that time. Darn it. Okay, on the rails of the range, right? Because you know how the targets go back and forth on an indoor range,
Yeah.
right? So we would hang them up. That's how we would set up our course, and so there's just only special hangers. So I get to this house that we moved into, and I go to the basement. And I look up, and there's rafters. Like, oh, rafters. And I was like, all I need are hooks. and snow barrier and one by 1x2s or whatever those are. Those pieces of yeah, target stick wood, right?
Yep.
If
One by
people
two.
get them that
Yep.
stick together and get some 550 cord and tie it up, so I put hooks so I can put hooks up on the rafters and put them wherever. I could hang those barriers or the snow fence wherever. I can just make mini stages all day long if I wanted to. Just change things around if I get bored and put targets wherever I wanted to. So yeah, the sky's the limit down there actually. But lately I've kind of focused more so towards just setting up similar to similar to classifier setups, kind of
Mhm.
right, because that it gets kind of old after a while, being as old as I am now and still in A class. So it might be worth my while to actually practice something that will get me more better than A class. So before it was just practicing what you normally do to win a stage, right? And one that causes burnout, and my hands aren't as young as they used to be, and so um, uh, it's easier for me to get repetitive injuries,
Yeah.
with the hands. So I got
Yep.
to be
Repetitive
careful,
use injuries.
smarter, right? So I got to be smarter on how I train, so I don't get into that problem. But I tell you what, it's nice to be able to do that for exercise, actually, and burn off some steam from work or whatever, right? Because uh, you just need to have an outlet of some sort where you just go somewhere on your own and and purge whatever thoughts you had and concentrate on something that you want to concentrate on. So that's the opportunity for that dry
Cheap
fire. There we go.
cheapest form of practice too. So,
Definitely, yeah, yeah, yeah.
doesn't cost you a
But
thing.
I'm telling you though, now I did this yesterday, right? I was
All right.
smoked.
All right. So, put that back up and tell everybody what you're holding up.
Yeah, so this is the latest. This is the latest thing. So my buddy Make Ready PT, also known as Anthony Villanueva, said, "Hey, you're a nobody until you get one of these things." He didn't say it like that, but that's how I interpreted it. But he threw it on his Instagram, and I was like, "What the heck is that?" Right? And uh, I bought one of these for my son last Christmas time. The Oculus, right? Looks
Okay.
well. This is the two, and it's charging right now, so it's got a cable on it.
Okay.
And so this firearm looking thing gets mailed to you, and you put the handle or one of the grips inside it like this, and it's you just shoot like a regular gun. So you have your thing in your headset, so you don't see any of this stuff. But this is stout. This is heavy. This isn't like a lightweight piece of plastic. They put
Right.
lead in this, right? When you hit this
And yeah.
magazine release here, right, it actually pushes this trigger right here down, or this button down right here. So that magazine release actually works, and it knows when you hit it as a reload. So you could replicate the reload by just hitting the bottom of the gun. And the trigger, look at there's take up. There's actually true take up on the trigger. So it activates the trigger on the actual thing, uh,
Yep.
whatever you call it, the controller, right? And then when you finish with the take up, you actually have to press it all the way, which is pretty stout. It's probably a good 6 to 8 pound pull to go the rest of the way. So the guys that did this literally did it for actual true competition shooters. I mean, this is designed for us. It is worth every freaking penny. Now, the one drawback is, well, it's probably not a drawback because I haven't tested it myself yet, but holstering it, right? Because you got this whole weird thing sticking out. So I've got to find, I think it's hard to say what this model after, maybe a Sig 320.
That's a Sig 320.
This part right here, right?
Yep.
So I probably could modify one of my countless Sig 320 holsters and make it work. I haven't
Tim
actually thought
Heron.
about it till just now.
Do you follow Tim Heron on Instagram?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
He
He's a
put
king
out
at this game. He's a freaking king.
he put out a video showing exactly what holster he's using, and he holsters the gun.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, game over.
Yeah.
Okay,
So check out his Instagram, go through his feed. It's there. It's
okay.
like a 7-minute video. And he talks about what holster he uses. And sure enough, yeah, man, that thing, Who was Oh, Frank Shu. You know who Frank Shu is?
The name rings a bell. Yes.
Okay, well, he was a Canuck sponsored shooter for a while. I don't know if he still is or not, but he and I were chatting on Instagram. I don't know if it was private. I think it was privately, but JJ was just using the thing, and Frank made a comment to me. He's like, they're doing something right when JJ takes the headset off and he's sweating.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
it is no joke. You get into it, you
Yeah.
could spend a while doing it. But I think, but Noel, it might be made for competition shooters, but anybody can get benefit from it because,
For
I
agreed.
mean, you can shoot. I was just messing around with it. You can do group shooting, you can do speed shooting, you can do movement, you can compete against friends. I was talking to Connor and Aaron, who's the co founder, and oh, shoot, Noah. And Tim Herron could get on the system and he could have a student from across the country get on the system and he can do a virtual coaching because he can see what the guy is doing.
Wow.
So yeah, man, it's there's a lot of application with this thing. I There's obviously going to be some limitations because it's virtual,
Sure.
but for what they have created and where they plan to go with it, I mean, I'm really wondering now the impact it's going to have on all these other like laser training systems and stuff because this is way beyond anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to set up cameras and all the and targetry on your wall. I mean, it's literally
Right.
all in
They're
front of
gonna
your
go broke.
eyeball.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
guys.
it
This sadly, those companies are gonna go broke. I mean,
yeah,
the thing though is
they're going to
there's a
have to
cost
figure out
to it.
something.
Yeah.
But
There,
even
there's a
then, I mean, go ahead.
no. I'm just saying it's not cost prohibitive. I don't think to any
No,
extent.
it's not.
Because you're gonna get the Oculus anyways. Because it's one of those things. It's almost now at this point it's a commodity item. You almost have to have it for other things aside from this. And so the price of this though is 100% worth it. It's cheap in the
Yeah,
grand scheme of things.
yeah. Okay, let's say you buy the Oculus 3,
Hmm.
the what is that? I think it's the 128, the one with the less amount of memory. So it's what, like 499. Okay, $500.
Right.
Not cheap. $500 is not cheap, but in the grand scheme of things, what is that? Less than 2 cases of ammo. And in because you figure about $300 is a case is what I'll go for going case of 9 millimeter ammo. Okay.
Hmm.
So you buy that. It's a $20 a month subscription fee because they're constantly updating and adding to it every 2 weeks.
Right.
Now, if you sit there in Tim Herron in 30 hours fired 21,000 virtual rounds. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
21 cases of ammo. That is a
Awesome.
crap ton. That's
Hmm.
$6,300 worth of ammo.
Sure. Sure. I
So
mean, the one thing it doesn't do, it doesn't. You don't. There's no recoil, right?
no,
But I don't.
but when I was shooting it, I found that I was still gripping it hard because just manipulating the trigger was causing the sights to move.
Exactly. I was just gonna say that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all about that trigger pull because it is a stout trigger pull. I don't know if it could
Yeah.
be rectified to make it a little lighter, but yeah, no, it's
But
fine. Good
since
training.
there's no recoil, do you want to make it lighter? Because I felt like that was giving me something similar because it is so stout. You've got to grip that thing hard so that the dot doesn't move, you know?
Well, so that's just it. Because when you're watching the gun on the in the headset, that gun's moving. So in my mind, I feel like the gun's moving too because I'm seeing the gun move in the video. And so
Right.
that messes the heck out of me, right?
It does. It
Um,
does.
but it translates, I think, into your hands because you kind of like forget that the gun's not moving because you're seeing it moving, but it's really not moving, right? It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like it.
Optical
I mean,
illusion.
I thought it'd be a sketch once I got it, and I wouldn't like it. But then I tried it, and I'm like, I'm flabbergasted how good it is. It's there's nothing else. I mean, it's almost like the real thing, aside from the recoil side.
Yeah.
It is.
And
It's definitely fun.
I don't know about you, but I do all my dry you do your dry fire in the basement. I do my
Hmm.
dry fryer in a garage, and my garage is
Hmm.
not temperature controlled. Now, I could just go into my bedroom or the
Yeah.
guest bedroom or the living room if nobody's around, put that thing on, and
Yeah.
you can literally do it anywhere. There's no setup
Right.
time. You put the
Right.
stuff on, you turn everything on. Dude, the first time they were like, "Oh, and here's how you change the magazine." So, the first time I pressed the button, I was like, I watched the magazine fall out of my gun. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Holy cow, there's a magazine on the ground."
Yeah. That's
You know what
wild.
I mean? I was like, "Whoa." It is
Yep.
mind-blowing.
They did so good with it. Totally impressed.
I
I'm gonna
I'm
bring it
actually
to the
sup
Great American Outdoor Show.
I'm actually sup Oh, well, we're gonna talk about that next, or not next, but that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. But I plan on having Noah, who is their marketing manager, his card right here, and Tim
Nice.
Heron on for an episode and talk about it.
Oh heck yeah.
So
Yeah, they're
I'm hoping to
selling.
do
I'm sure
that
they're selling
soon.
hotcakes. You know, it's funny thing was I expected because so I saw JJ's post on it, right? I'm like, oh, I'm buying one now. I, I hit up Anthony and go, hey man, what's your coupon code? And then he didn't reply, so I went to his bio. It's like, oh, it's right there. so, so I plugged it in. I don't know. I got like a month free with that coupon code, but yeah, whatever.
Okay.
It ends up being washed with shipping charge and all that. But I expected to wait like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, because I knew the guys were at shot. It's like, there's no way I'm going to get one right away. It came in uh, Saturday. I ordered it like on Wednesday or maybe Thursday. So like, and it's coming out of Texas. I did not expect that. Like I thought the whole team would not be there. They would be at shot, but apparently they were shipping. So I'm like, yeah, buddy. So I posted there and I just like, thanks a lot, JJ. You made me buy spend $200 on something I'm not so sure. Well, I don't know what I said exactly, but that's what I was thinking. I'm
Right.
dude, it's a given. You just got to get it. It's if you don't have one yet, you're not one of the cool kids because it's awesome. I'm gonna go
Yeah,
do some of that
and
as soon as
look,
we're done. When I'm done here.
well, and the podcast is called Casual Shooters Podcast. So,
Yeah, buddy.
you know, so my point is, if you're a casual shooter, even if you just
Hmm.
want to get better, with your gun, and you don't have the money or the time or whatever, because maybe your closest range is an hour away,
Hmm.
dude, this is the next best thing. Like, I like Cool Fire Trainer, I like different ideas, but I have not seen anything like this.
Right.
And,
I got a cool
and
fire trainer.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Well,
like those.
you name a dry fryer system I don't have. I definitely probably already have it. But this right here, it's like, oh, this is the game changer.
This
It
is
really is.
absolutely a game changer. Now, there is a game changer for your AR-15 though, and that's Cool Fire Trainers
Ah,
coming out with an AR-15
I saw
device.
that. I saw a video on that. Like, oh, I
I
think I
played with
wanted to
it,
try that just because it'd be cool. Yeah. Really? Wow. Yeah, it looks neat.
and one charge is 80 to 85 rounds, trigger pulls,
Serious.
80 to 85 trigger pulls. And dude, I was sitting there playing with it, holding it. They had every year I go to SHOT Show, I go to the Cool Fire Trainer booth,
Okay.
and they have little tiny white targets, about
Sure.
3 to 4 inches in diameter, on in their booth,
Cool.
different areas. And you put that thing up to your eye and you pull the trigger, and it's enough recoil to move the sight, where you either have to pull it in hard and lean into it to control
Right.
it,
Right.
and kind of get that rhythm down. But it's very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I like the AR one because you don't have to take off the laser every time you want to recharge it. So that's one drawback with the nine or the pistol ones. Like to be honest, I never even use a laser for the pistol ones. I just use it for the recoil impulse. But I went
Right.
so crazy with the cool fire trainer. Actually, I actually bought a CO2 tank. So I could fill up the I could charge their bottles, the paintball bottles with them. And I don't have to worry about going someplace else because I used to be able to get them at Dick's. They
So
would
like you
charge it,
bought a
recharge.
compressor?
No, I got a big tank,
Oh,
CO2
okay.
tank. So
I
if I
got you.
ever
And then
wanted
from there
to,
you can refill the other ones.
yeah, the paintball bottles.
I got you.
Oh, yeah. So, but the drawback with them is that after X number of rounds, they freeze up, and so you got
They
to
do.
sit that one down, and you have to grab another one that's already cooled off. That's a drawback. But it is what it is. It's still I like the recoil. So the recoil impulse for me, the main reason why I got it is because when I cut my left hand, I still wanted to be able to shoot because I couldn't do anything with my left hand when my thumb was messed up when I had stitches in it.
Okay.
And then once it healed, it was still not right. Like I had to go to physical. Like when I was able to do this again, I literally started crying because I couldn't do this. Um,
Wow.
yeah, I couldn't do that. That was impossible. In the very beginning, I could barely do that, but after
Wow.
the stitches were out, this was impossible to do. So anyway, the cool fire trainer killed me. I would say is because it, or what's a better way of putting it? Um, Made it so I could become confident in myself again and be able to shoot one handed. Because there was a time where, there's my thumb, where, I, where
There it
where I
is. You
wasn't able to
triggered it.
shoot weekend only. So I would take the procedural when there was a match or a stage. It keeps doing that. Whenever there was a stage where I'll just keep my hands down here now. Um, where you're required to shoot weekend only, I couldn't do it. My hand was just too messed up. So I would take the procedural
Mm,
and do everything with my right hand. Anyway, that's a thing.
okay.
But
It's in
I did get to the point where I could shoot with both hands. So that worked out.
so it's interesting that you've tried out all these different systems too. So,
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of trial and error in this passion of ours. I mean, it goes back to not getting not getting bored too easily, right? Like,
mhm,
what's your other passions? Aside from shooting guns, do you have anything else you like doing?
this.
That's it. Oh, podcasting. Yeah. No, you do a good
Yeah,
job with this. I
podcasting,
appreciate you guys.
shooting. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of time that gets devoted to it. So, it's very all consuming in a way.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I recently got into motorcycling, so um, that's
Like
been,
motocross?
especially obviously. No, 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 just riding a bike, just going out and
Oh,
riding.
okay. All right.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
cruising.
yeah, yeah. You can say that. Going out riding, going back and saving gas from the
Yeah.
cars, right? It's better gas mileage. But we did a camping trip one time. My wife and I, we went camping with from the motorcycle. Yeah, it's a adventure bike, so you stuff everything in there and you make it work. We only went out for one night, so it wasn't like we're out for a whole weekend. That'd be kind of hard.
How big
You
are
run out of
those
water.
saddlebags?
Oh, they're huge.
Okay.
So it's a BMW, and so these ones expand out. So I could have them tuck in. There's a little bar inside that you pull up or pull down on, and it expands out. The Germans are pretty smart like that. And then same thing with the top cap. So I have all three saddlebags, and then I have a either I would wear the backpack or my wife would wear the backpack. We have that there too. But yeah, this is something that's kind
Interesting.
of fun to do. Yeah, there's a lot of that's one thing nice thing about PA. There's a lot of places that camp out here. So
Okay.
thing is you got to get those
Wow.
reservations in early because they fill up quick.
Right. Now, before we move on to the Great American Outdoor Show, which I wanted to talk to you about, what are your practical shooting goals?
Yeah, it's a great question. Um, to keep shoot really to keep shooting as long as I can, really. You know, I there was at one point where I was chasing the M card or the GM card and whatnot, and to be honest, I think it happens when it happens, right? Especially now with accumulated injuries and the fear of uh, of what we call the repetitive, having a repetitive use injury.
Mhm.
Because you don't want to get to the point where you hurt yourself so bad or you can't do it anymore, right? I mean, that's like we're talking
Right.
about motocross or even race car drivers. They go out and they're at 11 and they go out of control and boom, they're not doing that anymore for rest of their lives. And you get some extremist sports out there that do that. Not jumping in airplanes, but they got the whole squirrel suit on, the flying squirrel
Mhm.
suit, and they're doing. And you make a mistake on that, you're that's it. Um,
Yeah, there's no you're done.
right. So so in this sports more so do it as long as you can, and then just being the influence you need to be with the folks around you. Like there's there's a lot to be said where everyone wants to win. Well, not everyone, but the folks out there that are the winners as competitors, right? There's a difference. You got the competitor guys, and you got the guys that are like B class for life guys. And not that that's a bad thing, but a lot of times those guys are there because they enjoy being there with fellow people that are like minded, and that's um, in this culture you don't see that quite a bit, right? I mean, let's face it, it's a different world nowadays. And to be able to go there and you got folks that you just listen, you hear, and what's neat in our crowd or this community up here is you got it all. You got the old, you got the young, you got there's even some folks that are disabled that are going out there doing things, right?
Yep.
There's a deaf gentleman that comes out and shoots with us quite often. I shot a match. I think it was Western PA. There's a guy on a wheelchair, on my squad. And I don't know. Everyone has a story, and I think at this point in my life, I like to hear those stories, what they're all about, why they do what they do, what they do, um, and try to learn from that, and then ask myself that question, like, am I doing it right? What can I do better in my life to try to, uh, you know, hopefully help others, if that makes sense. So to not try to get so you know out there with you in terms of things, but when it comes to shooting, it's there's more to it than just going out there trying to shoot all alphas or trying to go as fast as you can. I think because you got a squad of dudes, and then you got maybe you're the RO or whatever, and you want to keep people safe. That's the key piece to this, And then if you want to go down the go down the angle of how convoluted things have gotten, from a political side, I suppose in USPSA, I suppose there's that, but in reality, is I do enjoy um, the idea again that you're around folks that are like-minded because it's America when you're out with these guys. So it's awesome.
It is. It's much more pleasurable being around people that are all like-minded in a way,
Yeah,
at least in regards to shooting.
correct. Yep,
So,
yep, yeah.
okay.
And it like I saved the level 2 stuff for putting the game face on, and then just it's all about the skill I put on the table at that point in time. But it's I mean, from a competitive aspect, when you're thinking like that, that's tough, man. You know, it's a there's a phrase people like to say, right? It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Not a sprint. Yeah,
And so in a major, you got 13 stages, 10 to 13 stages, and you're doing your best to be consistent through all stages. And that's just as a human being, that's just hard to do. That's one other part of it that I like, where yeah, it's stressing you out, and you're trying to be as perfect as possible, right? Um, but you can't be. And so, how do you recover from that? So, there's a lot of aspects to this. Like one is again that improving on my ability to come back after a bad stage, and of course, not having the bad stage in the first place would be great, but that's what makes some of these stages challenging. And then another aspect would be, um, uh, you know, preparing for the match itself. You got some, you have uh, some gear things you have to do, right? You have to learn. Like the last mistake I made in my last major is my mags or springs were smoked by the end of the year, right? And
Mm.
so I know I had an issue at least two of the stages where my mags were just done. They just didn't want to feed anymore. So this year I bought fresh mags and ready to go, and I always have a backup mag or a backup spring just in case. Uh, fresh mag springs to go, and I got backup springs just in case. So, um, yeah, you learn something new every season, I think, and you try to bring that to the table and just improve and get better. And it's an uphill battle. And okay, so the other thing would be memory. All right, there's one factor in the sport I really appreciate, and that's your ability to visualize your stage plan, memorize it, and just try to do your best to execute it. And then after you're done with the stage, remember, like close your eyes and say, okay, this is what I felt when I did this. And this is what I felt when I did that. And that's kind of hard to do, but when it it you yeah, I think you appreciate your own skill set more when you're able to replay stuff and then compare that to what the video shows, right? It's like, oh man, I envisioned doing like that, but it really wasn't as sexy as I thought it was, you know. Um, Yeah, and I like watching the other shooters really. Some of the so I try to squad with some of those awesome dudes out there. Nick Reynolds, all the guys from uh, um, what's it called? The beer guys. What's their
Hold my beer.
hold my beer team? Hold my
Yeah.
beer. Those guys. Those guys are freaking wicked good. It was so awesome to watch them shoot. Right. And who's my local here? Chris Gilnett. So
Oh yeah.
whenever
Okay.
because he lives just down the road from me per se, and we share
Oh,
the same home range. And so whenever there's a match that he goes to, I'll hit him up, see he wants to carpool. So we'll carpool a lot of matches together. Yeah, and I learned a lot watching that young kid. He's amazing with an open gun. He does a really good job. Um, uh, he's gone a long way. He's shooting really well. It's fun to watch his videos whenever he posts them.
right. Yeah, he's very good.
It's really good.
So now,
So yeah.
now that you're aging and your faster years, I'm not going to say your better years, your faster years are behind you. Any plans on match directing, assistant match directing, anything like that?
Um, uh, yeah. I would. Okay, so I've been now that my work situation per se is stabilized. There's a possibility where I could match direct a if we could do it a Thursday night match at our local club. Kind of probably angle it towards. I mean, this is a pipe dream now. I don't know if it'll ever come true, but it was something I've been thinking about since day one of moving here to PA. Because that was our Tuesday match in Illinois. Was an indoor match. It was really a practice match, but we go in there and you shoot a stage, and it's $5 a run. And if you want to run multiple runs on that stage, you can. You just have to pay $5. So that was great. And if I could emulate something like that here at our local mat or our local club, and it wouldn't be anything difficult. I mean, you make it as difficult as you want, but kind of keep it
Right.
quick, keep it simple, but you're getting the reps in, and you're creating accountability. So like when you pay, right, there's accountability now because you don't want to waste $5 over and over and over again, right? You want to, and then at the end of the day, you're on practice court because you can see who wins or how well you did amongst your peers, etc. And you know, I think a lot of folks that do this sport are competitors, even though they know they're not going to win. They still think they want to see where they stand in the grand scheme of things. There's one couple that shoot, and they usually shoot revolver in our neck of the woods. Rob and Janice, and it's funny, because uh, it's just cute to watch them go back and forth. Say, hey, I beat you this last stage, and yeah. Anyways,
Are they married?
they are, yeah, they are,
Okay.
and they're retired now too, and so um, it's and then, it's funny is I was able to get Janice to shoot 1911 for a little while. She got off the for the last 2 years actually she was shooting 1911, so she got off the whole revolver bandwagon for a little while. So that was nice to see.
So same number of rounds.
Well, she's shooting minor. So she had 10 versus 8 plus some
Okay.
Barney. So, yeah, but she
Non-technical.
would smoke Rob every yeah she would smoke at Rob every now and then. I'd give Rob a hard time. It's so great, it's so fun. It's like, hey, look at Janice beat you again, Rob. What's up?
Get beat by a
Anyway,
girl.
uh, yeah, he would have some excuse to be kind of good. It's like, oh, I let her win. It's like, oh, yeah, okay, no, no, but stories like that. That's why we do it, right? Nowadays. Um,
Now I know you
yeah,
said Rob Epifania is a good friend. Um,
yes,
so
indeed.
and I know you've coordinated training stuff with him and things like that. Is that something you see yourself doing more of? Maybe coordinating training sessions, helping,
Oh,
anything like that?
so thanks for bringing that up.
You're welcome.
In March, the weekend before Easter, I want to say that's like the 23rd, 24th. Man, I gotta pull up the
Sure.
calendar. Sorry.
That's okay. I don't
Um,
know the date
yeah,
for Easter off the top of my
yeah,
head.
23rd, 24th. So there's going to be a training session available with Rob Epifania there at West Shore Practical Shooters or West Shore Sportsmen's Association, WSSA.
Okay.
And yeah, hit me up or hit Rob up for that training if anyone here in Area 8 is interested in that, or if you're traveling further, it should be a good course. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's signed up yet, but thanks for giving me the opportunity to pitch that.
Is that a 1 day training class or 2 day or what?
No, it'll be 2 day. It'll be 2 day,
Okay.
Saturday and Sunday. So all day
Okay.
Saturday, all day Sunday. And if the class is really good, we probably have a barbecue at my place afterwards or at the range because they have a nice little pad there now for that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah,
If
it's a really
if I
nice
wasn't
facility. West Shore's gone.
if I wasn't going to be crippled, I'd try to make it.
Oh no. Oh, you get the surgery. That's right.
Yeah, I've got knee surgery
You
on
got
the
it.
5th of March,
Yeah,
so
March.
I'm
Yeah.
not doing much of
No,
anything
it's too
after that.
early. That's too that's too early. You
Oh
need to
yeah.
go right. Okay. Or
I mean, unless
reschedule
you
it.
guys
You can wait.
allow
And, yeah, man.
wheelchairs.
April. We'll figure it out. Shoot from sitting. I don't know. I don't know
Right.
how. Yeah. Yeah.
My entry into
Uh,
and out of shooting positions might not be the best. That
right.
wasn't very smooth, Dave. We had to pick up your wheelchair again. All right. So now I'm curious. I've seen pictures on your Instagram of where you've been to the Great American Outdoor Show, which is at the Pennsylvania
hmm
Farm Show Complex. And
hmm
look, I've looked at it the last few years because it is ginormous. Um,
hmm Yep. It's big.
it is big. From a so I want to ask you the question: is it worth visiting? But I want to ask you that question from a couple different perspectives. One, if you're just a competitive shooter, does it even matter? Two, if you're a casual shooter and maybe you're a gun enthusiast and you enjoy shooting guns and being outdoor and stuff, is it worth going?
Okay, so my take on it is if you're a casual shooter, it's geared towards you, right?
Okay.
It's definitely not geared towards competitor, unless you're a competitor fisherman or a competitor
Archer.
archery guy, because
Yeah.
they do archer because then they do that kind of stuff there. Um, but for a competitive shooter, you're going to get more out of probably the NRA show and obviously shot because you'll have more of the big wig, because like, I'm trying to think. The last couple of shows, well, I've done this will be my fifth show with EAA. And to be honest, I don't remember because again, it's a long show. So to have like 9 days, right? So to have a sponsored shooter there the entire time is next to impossible. We had well, so they would be like folks that that don't win nationals that are sponsored, kind of like me, that would be there. They'd be all jerseyed up. Um, but as far as national champions, honestly, I don't think I remember to date. I don't remember any of those guys being at this particular show. If they
Okay.
did, they probably squeezed in there for a day and then left, but they weren't there at a booth for the entire time. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Have you been to SHOT Show?
Not yet. No, no. I wanted to go this year, but it didn't. Just wasn't in the card. So I think next year is almost a guarantee.
So, are you familiar
I've been to.
enough with it that you can tell me what the difference is between the Great American Outdoor Show and a SHOT
Oh
Show?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So this was tailored mainly to folks that are outdoorsmen, right? So great outdoor show. So like you'll get an area of the whole. Have you been to the farm show area or farm
I have
show
not.
thing? Okay, this is so if you can imagine this complex built upon complex built upon complex built upon. So there's like, and then some areas are like stadiums where they would do horse roping, and the other part would be another stadium where they could do bull riding or whatever. So there's a bunch of different complexes within this farm show complex. It's just huge. It's massive. And so they'll divvy up the areas, and one area actually just has folks that will sign you up to go do a safari hunt somewhere in Africa, or do a safari. Well, I don't know if they call it safari, but a hunt in Colorado or Arizona or New Mexico, whatever, for big game,
Okay.
right? And that's nothing but those guys. And then, of course, you'd have, just like you have at gun shows, the guys that sell like food and jerky and, you know, pickles,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And those booths would be there
Now you got
too.
my attention.
Scatter. Well, some of those booths are pretty dang good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
impressed with this pickle right here. This is a pretty damn good. Yeah. Um, so they'll be, those kind of things will be scattered amongst. And then, I mentioned archery. There'll be a big archery setup area. There'll be an area where there's guys training dogs, right? There'll be an
Okay.
area that has, there'll be a big glass tank. If you watch people fish in the big glass tank, it's this big semi truck that's glass, and they literally have fish, and you get up there and you fish and catch your fish that way. And they'll have little small fish pond areas for little kids too, so they could fish out in this other area as well. They'll display cars. There'll be cars that'll be there, like all types of weird cars, different cars, regular cars. Um, or vehicles, I should say. Actually, they had this one really nice one that was a tracked vehicle. I wish I got it, man. It was so cool, but it was stupid expensive too. But it was it's like, just
Uh,
imagine a skateboard or a snowboard that had a track, right? It's like a tank track on it. Oh, nuts! It was so cool though. They had rock-ons. You know what a rock-on is? It's a two-wheel motorcycle or a two-wheel drive motorcycle. The front wheel is motorized too. Yeah, they'll have all. So anything that
oh.
you would think that outdoorsman would need, like a tree stand,
Okay.
a retailer would be there, right? People sell fishing poles, a bunch of those guys, right? Uh, if you're looking for outdoor cold weather gear, right? Like gator skin. That's what we got. We always waited for the gator skin booth to show up again, and we can never find it. But that's some good quality stuff to keep you warm out in the field. Um, let's see, and then of course the area where the guns are. So there's they reserve one area for all the firearms, and majority of the firearms companies showed. Like even Sig was there last year. Yeah, Sig was there last year, and you know,
Okay.
most of the ones that were, not most, majority, a lot of the big name ones that were at SHOT are there too, right? Their booths just won't be as big. That's what the big difference is,
Mm,
right?
okay.
But you'll have like Hollisun was next door to us last year. I don't think they're next door to us this year. Um, you'll have like concealed carry holster people there, like Crossbreed was there. Um, and they're always neat to hang out next to, because at the end of the show they'll say, "Hey man, you want a belt?" Because they don't want to bring this stuff back with them. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I want a belt. So hook a brother up. So yeah, I got some pretty awesome crossbreed
Man,
belts.
even though it's not allowed, so my first SHOT Show that I ever went to was 1996.
Oh boy, that's a
And
hot second ago.
yeah, and when on that Sunday when we were getting ready to leave, I cannot think of the the knife company, off the top of my head,
Spyderco,
but it was
Benchmade.
no. I know what it is. I'm just having a brain fart. But anyway, same thing. Like they were going to have to pack up, and I bought one of their knives for Cold Steel. That's who it was for 40
Mm,
bucks.
okay.
Best knife to this day I've ever owned. Who the TSA stole it from me, bastards. But
Oh,
yeah, I mean it was kind of my fault. I forgot it in my pocket. Where I always carry my knife.
oh,
It
okay.
was
Okay, gotcha.
clipped right there, and I get to the security thing, and I'm like, oh crap. And at that time, there was no way to ship it to yourself or do anything.
Yeah,
It was a Friday night, and I'm like, "Look, I'm coming back Sunday. Can you guys just put it to the side and I'll get it?" They're like, "Nope." So I know somebody got my knife because it was the greatest knife I've ever owned. But anyway,
man.
so are so
Man.
at this place, can you actually buy stuff, or is it like Shot Show where there are no sales
It depends. Um,
on whether you're a
so
criminal
there
or
was a
not?
booth across from. Say again?
I said on whether you're a criminal or not, or what? What does it depend on?
Yeah, well, okay. Yeah. Okay. So there's guys that sell parts, right? So if you wanted to build your own AR, you could probably do that.
Okay,
Um,
I gotcha.
yeah. I don't know about getting the lower there, but everything else you could probably get. You could get a lower there, I would imagine, but yeah, I don't remember. You could buy ammo there. There's guys. Matter of fact, I almost bought 9 mil one time. Someone was offering a really good price on 9 mil there last year, but I held off. It's like I reload. I don't need that. Targets like certain target companies would be there. So if you need steel,
Mm.
they would be there. So like I don't remember what company that was now, but I got some steel in the past at the show. Safes, if you're into safes,
So there
champions
are
there.
some things you can
Um,
purchase there, but
oh
not
yeah,
necessarily
yeah.
not a whole firearm.
Okay, so how that works, like my booth would be selling. You wouldn't be able to buy it and pick it up from us. But next door to us, we have a company that we're partnered with called Kinsey's, right next door to our booth. So if a
Okay.
person comes in our booth and says, "Hey, I like this new influencer that you're selling. It's in 10 mil and it's full size and it has a cool rail on it and it's ready for optic, right? And it's got ambidextrous safeties and these cool hexagon grips and the magwell. You know, you want this
This is not
influencer,
an ad. It just
Kinsey could
sounds like
order.
one.
Yeah, definitely not ad. If you want this influencer from and Kinsey's could get it to you and um you buy from them and they would ship to your FFL. But if you're local, you go to their store and pick it up. You could even pick it up that day because they have hours that they're open during the show. And a lot of folks who did that, and so it would be neat. Like I'd see, we would get regulars, fans, I guess you want to call them, and they'd show up that Saturday, the first day of the show, right? And then they would come back Friday or Sunday the following Sunday because you have your old ticket from whenever you showed up Sunday. You come back in for free, the last Sunday of the show. So we would say to see the same customers later on in the week, say, "Yeah, I already got my gun. Like we picked up from Kinsey's the other day or whatever. It's awesome. They already took it shooting it or whatever," and they tell us their stories. So that's always awesome feedback.
Cool.
And I don't know. I get a kick out of that when you, especially, you get a lot of. I mean, so we'll have a price book there, and last year we had a 20% deal if it was an in stock gun Kinsey's had, right? And so they would get the regular list price 20% off. So that was kind of neat. I'm glad we did that. I think we might be doing that this year, but I'm not 100% certain. I would imagine we would be. Why wouldn't we? We did it last year. But anyways, I'm not in charge. I just show up and help convince people that it's the best thing ever. So yeah, not ad.
Okay. Right.
But these new guns, these new 2024 line of guns that we got in are pretty awesome. I mean, I just showed you that one that's camouflaged in black, which is a pretty sweet one. And then now we got this green one that's also camouflaged,
Oh,
and and this one has a I think, what is it? What's the standard size? 1.5 by 28. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
Put a
right. Yeah.
yeah. I put a SIG can on this one not too long ago. It's freaking cool, and it's plated also for optic. And these optics are cut for RMSC.
Okay, so the
Yep.
smaller footprint optics,
Yep.
the
Yep.
micro compacts,
Ambidextrous
the
slide
micro
release.
dots. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the new polymer. We call this one the disruptor. Green camouflage. Can you? Does this come out? Can you see that
It
camouflage
does. I
job?
actually like it.
Your
Yeah,
job?
I do like it.
It is.
Yep.
I'm like, I dig it, man. I don't know. The
It's
guy who did
not
this is
quite a
really good.
woodland camouflage pattern, but close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does have the brown, but the fact that it's camouflage at all is pretty sweet. The black one again, I don't think we got a good look at
No, the black one's harder to
black.
tell. Now that you've said it, and sometimes when yeah, there you go. Okay. A little bit of some gray in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They did a really good job on these.
Now, are they doing
And then
that in-house or are they sending is somebody else doing that?
as far as I know, they're doing it in-house. They're doing it in
Okay.
Turkey. Yeah.
In Turkey? Okay.
Um, and then this is the Untouchable. So this one is a officer style, same style of grips as that first one, hexagon. So these style of grips are new. Magwell also. So to have a subcompact or an officer with a magwell, I love that. That's so awesome
Can
that
you
they did
drop
that.
the mag and let me see the mag well again? And if you're
Oh
listening to this, you should probably go and look at it on YouTube. Okay, so it's like a three-sided magwell.
yeah, there's a flared opening there because the magazine. So that way, if you wanted to see the shorter magazine, you can. But I'd still use 8 round magazine, but whatever. This is a 7 round 45.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, this is called the Untouchable line. So you got the Untouchable, and then you have the Influencer. And the difference mainly is that the Untouchable does not have the optic ready like the Influencer. So this one will be at a better price point than this one,
Okay.
and the
I got
Influencer.
you.
So Influencer is
It's
a
like the
little bit more
influencer is
deck
a
bound.
double threat. Yeah. A dual threat.
Yeah, I guess it's a dual thread.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the last one, they actually sent this to us for my wife's Christmas present, I would say. And this one's called The Lady with the MC14T tip up barrel. So like this is pretty cool. Watch this. Bam.
Okay.
So if you have challenges like I do with racking a slide because it's so hard on my thumb or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Um, you don't have to rack the slide anymore. You just pop it up, put your first round in, close it, and you're ready to rock.
And
Right?
then
You could
insert
keep
the
it.
mag and it automatically feeds?
Yeah, that's your first. Once
Nice.
your mag's already in there, right? And you have your
Right.
first left, one round in your hand, and just put it in
Okay.
there and close it. You're ready to go.
Pretty
Yeah, you can.
wild.
So you have the option to have it locked and cocked like a regular 1911. So or keep it in double action mode like you would with your 92 Beretta, and just be able to pull the trigger. You could even put it on safe in that mode too if you wanted to, I guess. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
put it in
if you want
safe
to
in
be
that mode
extra
as well. But
crazy.
yeah, extra super safe.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
thinking
it's really nice about the ladies. Look at that
it is pretty nice.
grip. They
Oh, wow,
engraved
it's
that
even
wooden
a yeah,
grip.
an image of a
Look,
woman.
look.
Okay.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention it's ported. There's four portions
It
on
is
top of the barrel.
ported. Okay.
Yeah,
And I take
very
it it's
cool.
a 9 mil.
No, it's 380 ACP. Yeah,
Okay. All right. What's
yeah.
the but that doesn't
It's
look like
full magazine.
it looks like a what, a 3.5 to 4 inch barrel?
Yeah. So the barrel's, I'd say closer to 4 inch.
Yeah. Okay. All
Oh,
right.
here, I got one of these cool tools right here in front of me. It's four and almost 4.5 actually
Wow. Okay. I
from
thought
beach
me
to nose.
the
No, it is
all
four and
right.
a half. Exactly 4.5.
Boom. There you go. A 380 with a 4.5 inch barrel. Okay.
That's ported, and a
That
rail,
is
so you can
ported.
put your light on
And a
there too.
rail for you can put a light on it. You can do whatever you hang a monkey off the bottom. Yeah.
You didn't hear the gold accents is what got
I
me.
was going to say, and
It's
you've got gold. Now, what are the gold accents up front on the front of the rail?
this guy here, that's the hinge point for the barrel to tip up. So the
Okay.
top part of the barrel that's attaching, that's ported right here, attaches right there. So then you just shut it. So
Now, does
what
the
reciprocates then obviously is a slide.
right?
The barrel doesn't move. It's straight barrel like a 92, right? Because it's basically a copy of a Beretta.
Okay. So, how do you disassemble that sucker?
That's a good question. I haven't gotten that far with it yet.
Okay.
I haven't. We haven't even shot it yet. It has a tag on it still.
I see that.
Yeah, we'll cross that bridge when that time comes.
All
I
right.
will I will learn. Now that you've put me on the spot, I will learn how to do that at some point soon. Yeah, it's
I like to think I
definitely.
ask the tough questions on this show.
Yeah, yeah, and I agree.
Oh.
It's a good question. Yeah. Anyway, so that is um the primary new line of 2024. We do have some. There is another tip up, or not tip up, another version of this coming out that doesn't tip up. One's called like
Okay.
the 84, and I just have to pull up the webpage. There's another one too. But yeah, they're all
You
on
s-
EACore.com's webpage. All the
you
new guns
seem
they
to
have out.
enjoy popping that barrel up and clicking it back down. It's like
Well, when you
ASMR for
have thumb
Noel.
surgery, we have to regrow a new thumb. Yeah, yeah. I kind of have
Yeah,
appreciation for something like this. It's
I
smart.
hear you.
It's really smart. MC14 BDA is what one's called, and the other one's called MC14 G84. And the difference between the BDA and G84 is the G84 has got the slide cut out, so you see the barrel, not the slide.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it's the same gun, and they do look like
Okay.
they're both optics ready too, which is kind of neat.
Oh, nice. I
Yeah,
mean,
and then the go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I mean, at this point, everything might as well be optic cut. You know what I mean?
It's so smart. I mean,
It does.
it's
It
so
is.
easy to shoot these guns with a dot. I mean, you don't have to really think. Really, you just move from position to position and then just rack on the trigger.
Well, I
So
mean,
yeah,
that
it's
that
fun.
gun still looks small enough you could easily carry it concealed. So why wouldn't you want to put a dot on it? You know, with some shake awake technology and carry it concealed.
This 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 one is not dot ready. Actually, you know what? I don't. Now I'm looking at the pictures more closely. I don't know if these are dot ready. No, I'm sorry, I misspoke. That's not a screw. I thought that was a screw in the picture. It's the same looking thing as this has. So there's a takedown pin right here,
Oh,
some
I
sort
gotcha.
that
A
punches out.
recessed,
And so
right?
yeah, these pictures are the same thing. It's not a plate. I thought it
So
was.
disregard
I would
everything I
imagine at
just
some
said.
point. Well, not really. I mean, these ones are all dot ready. These bigger ones, right? But yeah, but maybe next year
There you go. Got to save something
or
to
later on, maybe
announce next year.
Q4, Q4. Yeah, that's how it works. That
Well,
works.
Noel, I pretty much
Yeah,
asked everything I wanted to cover. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
man, put me on the spot like that. I mean, I could talk all day about this kind of stuff. Really, it's fun. It really is. Like, um, you know, what you do and how you get folks on your podcast. I think that means a lot. I know there's a reason behind your marketing, calling yourself the Casual Shooters Podcast, and that's great because to get regular folks on that aren't necessarily national champions or far from it or whatever, and just hear your story. It's fun. It's fun to listen to, and I look forward to your episodes. It's good stuff. It's really good stuff. I actually look forward to people's your favorite movies and books too. It's like, oh man, that's a good one. I like
Okay.
that's a all right. I'll look into that book. I haven't heard that one because I like a while ago. I was thinking the autobiography of Elon Musk. I'm not sure if you heard that one yet or read that one yet. That's pretty intense.
I have not
That
read
guy
it, but I've
is
heard about it.
yeah, that guy is something else. But he's doing stuff. He's shaking and moving. I'm surprised you stayed away from the political talk about USPSA.
Yeah, are you?
Not to trigger anything, but yeah, I was actually surprised. Like, oh, well, because all the other podcasts nowadays are kind of talking about it, so I figured we
They
jumped into
are,
that. That's
but
okay.
I didn't establish the podcast to talk about the USPSA specifically.
Fair enough.
It's shooting.
Yeah,
So I don't mind talking about it. I give my opinion to everybody I talk to, but
yeah,
it's not what the podcast is about. So
for sure. No, I get it. There's time and place, right? Um, but
yeah,
yeah, I hope to see you at another match. I'd love to squad with you one of these days. We can shoot together and shoot, and talk more stories and share more stories.
yeah. Unfortunately, I probably won't be shooting till the end of the year at the earliest, but there
Yeah,
is
I'm
a
sure I'll
plan to
cover.
be at Area 8 and do some Sports Center style media at Area 8.
Oh, very nice. I remember that podcast clearly. I'm like, man, if anyone could do it, that's Rob or Dave. I'm sorry, Dave could totally pull that off. Um,
Yeah, Jay Slater and I are looking to do it. So
really, yeah.
yeah,
I don't know, man. You got to me, you need like a serious amount of tools per se, like the hardware. That to me sounds intimidating to get all that hardware configured and wired right and all that stuff angled right. But
we'll
more
find.
power to you. I hope you can pull it off.
Yeah, we're gonna try. We'll see how it turns out. I think it'll be. I think even if it doesn't go the way we have it planned in our head, I think it'll be good enough that people will get value out of it. So
Oh, for sure. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, even when you're attending nationals and you're just talking at the awards banquet, right? That's so much value added, not just to the sport, but to the folks that have done it in such a for so long time, and they're wanting to see, who steps on that podium and who the winner is, or um, just to see everyone else there having a good time together. I mean, man, were you at that nationals where one of the guys was completely lit? I don't know if you were at that one or not, or you're watching it.
I
Remember
don't
the
think I was at 20, 21, and 22. Carry optics.
it, Okay, no, you missed it then. It was 22, but
Okay.
it would have been Iron Sights. Yeah, it was great. I was like, oh my goodness, these guys are out of control. That's how I wish Dave was there filming it, show the world.
Oh
So awesome.
Lord.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, yep. This is a great sport. I enjoy doing it. I hope to do it a long time, and I guess that's my long-term goal is to be able to do a long time and hear stories and share stories and
And we had a
yeah,
local guy who was shooting till he was 84 until he passed. So
yeah.
it can be done. It's as long as you want to do it.
Yeah, that's man, to go on a little bit of tangent there. That's probably one of the hardest things about this sport, right? Is uh the guys that leave the range, right? Like I had a close friend of mine who he would, he would he was just a joker. His name was Kevin Monk, and anyone who's listening to this podcast, if you're in Illinois, you know who Kevin is. And I love that guy. He was really awesome, and he would tease me. He'd make fun of me all the time, not just me, everyone else too. But he'd make it feel like it was me he was picking on, and it just made me because I knew I was a better shooter than him. But that's okay. Just go ahead, tease me all you want. But to have that kind of spirit there, that made it fun, right? Because he was a light of the squad, or he was a light of the club, and he showed up. You're gonna giggle at least once or twice because yeah, he could crack some jokes. He's a great dude, and yeah, yeah, in um, that's the community we have, though, right? You want to, a lot of times I feel bad when a match sells out, like, but the folks that are there that stay there like 5 minutes early, 10 minutes early, just hit the button to try to get in the match because this year is crazy in terms of selling out. They sell out quick
Right.
in Area 8.
Yeah.
Illinois didn't have that problem really. In Illinois, you could just show up and you could still get on a squad. But here, man, it's rough. But once you're there and you're in and you're on that squad, you're gonna have some good stories together
The
and share with
further
each other and all
east
that.
you move, the worse it gets.
definitely. Or West, because I'm sure it sells out in California quite easily too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you could say the same thing. It's that whole center section where there's less population that
Yeah.
you have a better chance of being in a match. But yeah, you hit any of the populated areas, and it seems like I mean, I've waited 2 minutes to register for a local match and been put on a waiting list. It's like that's
Yep.
ridiculous. So,
Yeah.
but it
It's
is what
rough.
it is. I mean, you do what you can.
Yeah. 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 So going back to your saying, well, no, we'll cut it short. We could talk about it next time. But yeah, I do enjoy it, and I love what you're doing, and I appreciate you doing what you're doing.
I appreciate the feedback. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, Noel. Until next time, you take care and be safe.
All right, go Niners.
Until next time.
Don't be a little bitch. Yeah.